Great. So, Silver, I'm going to start with you. We saw a lot of people here are new to Empower, may not know a lot about what we do. So, perhaps you can start by introducing Empower a bit in a bit more detail to the audience of, what we offer and why we do so.
Sure. As Claire just mentioned, that we're a data-driven, we're a mission-driven company, and our mission is to help international students to study in the US and Canada with no worrying of not having enough money. Like as a former international student, that I actually know the pain that when we want to study in the US or Canada, that we're thinking about, oh, we have to only use the money that our parents provide us, or do we need to find a job ourselves at the same time as we have to worry about our study. And if we're thinking about we want to apply for a loan from the federal government, like what the local people do, that we will find that they will say no to us because we're not eligible for federal student aid. And if we go to the private banks and in the US or Canada, we will also required to provide a cosigner or collateral. Usually it's we can use the family property as a collateral, and or we have to find like a co-signer in the US or Canada to co-sign our loan application. And so that are very challenging and also barriers in front of international students. So here comes Empower. Us as a public benefit corporation, our mission is to bridge this gap. We specialize in providing student loans without co-signer or collateral. And the method we use to evaluate your application is very innovative, that instead of focusing on your past financial history or your family's financial situation, that we focus on evaluate your future earning potential based on your academic performance to approve your loan application. By saying academic performance, I mean mostly about your GPA, for example, your major, which school you're going to, and we want to use those information to help us to predict, estimate your future earning potential, and then we will give our loan to you.
I liked how you almost said data driven. We are data driven, but
We are.
mission driven. Good catch. So that's wonderful, Silver. I think I can see even a few questions about this. People want to know, how do you qualify for our loan, or how do we assess whether we're a good fit? So maybe you can share more about that.
Yes, sure. So our product is designed for to serve international students, and also like a few other immigration status that you may have in the US and Canada. And typically that if you are international students, that if you study in the US, that you will have a F1 or J1 visa, that you are an international student. And in the Canada, that you will need to have a study permit. And if you have that, you are an international student. And we also serve DACA recipient. This is a typical term that only apply to the US. And there is a program called DACA that if you're interested, that you can search for it, DACA. And we also serve US citizen. We also serve a refugee or a asylum seeker. And if you're a refugee or asylum seeker or DACA recipient, that we will also ask you to provide documentation to prove your immigration status. And what are other criteria to qualify our loan is that you need to be attend or get accepted to one of our eligible schools. We currently support more than 400 colleges and universities in the US and Canada. So there's a high chance that they will have you covered. There's no limitation on major. You can study whatever major in those 400 universities. And the last criteria is that when you apply our loan, you need to be within 2 years of graduating or about to start a 1 year or 2 year program. So those are the 3 criteria. And if you do not remember what I just said, come to our website and you will have all the criteria showing you there.
Awesome. So I think the shortest version of how to figure out if you qualify is, do you need the money? Do you need the money about 2 years before you graduate? If yes, awesome. Are you attending one of our supported schools? Also awesome. There are definitely a few other factors Silver mentioned, but those are the two biggest. And Silver, now people must be really excited to learn. Why is MPOWER's loan product awesome? Why should they go with us?
Yeah, this is my favorite part. Let me share my screen. I think it's this one. So many screens in front of me. Yeah, so what makes MPOWER a good choice? Why are we different? Why are we better than other companies in the market? The first thing is that we do not require cosigner or collateral. So this allows you to apply independently without involving your family, your sponsors. As what I mentioned, what we do is that we evaluate your academic performance to estimate your future earning potential. So with that said, that you can apply on your own, and this is very different approach compared to the traditional lenders. And the second one, what makes us different is that we offer fixed interest rate. We're actually the only company in the world that provides fixed interest rate to international students without a cosigner. This is one of the features that we're very proud of. Having a fixed rate means that your interest rate remains the same throughout the entire loan term, that your rate will never increase. And we're actually living in an environment that you probably already see on the news, like central banks, they're increasing their rates. That happens in many countries, in the US too. So having a fixed interest rate with us means that your rates will not increase when the global interest rate increase. And this makes your financial planning easier because your payment every month will also not change. And the third one, what we're proud of is that we offer US dollar loans. Once you get approved by us and you sign a contract with us, we will disperse the loan directly to your school in US dollar, which means that if you apply with MPOWER and you don't need to risk arriving overseas with less US dollar or Canadian dollar, because the foreign currency exchange rate sometimes can be volatile, depends on where you're from. Yeah, so those are the three features I think we are really good.
We're not really good. We're awesome. Come on now.
Yes, we're terrific.
So clearly these are financial benefits of the loan, but we do where we have other programs to support students. Why don't you review those? I'm tripping on my tongue, but review our other benefits.
Yes, we have so many benefits that we want to offer to our customers. Again, we're a mission-driven company that we are trying our best to help you to be successful, because only if you're successful in your education and career, we are successful in our business. So we help each other. So from left to right, we have three fantastic programs that we offer. First one is that we want to invite you to refer your friends to MPOWER. If you refer a friend, for every successful referral, you will get $300 in USD as reward, and your friend will also get $100 USD as reward if they decide to take the loan. How to refer a friend? We have a refer a friend webpage on our website. I think one of our chat moderator probably already sent the link to the chat box. So click that link on the refer a friend page, and there is a section that you can put in your name, your email address to generate your own referral link or referral code. Make sure that your friend using your unique link or code to start the application with MPOWER. And in that way that we can help you to successfully track that this referral is made by you. You don't need to be an Empower customer to refer friends, and there's no limit on how many referrals you can make. Yes, and the second program we offer is a merit-based scholarship program. Every year we have a couple rounds of scholarships that we offer to our customers. You do not need to be our own customer to apply to our scholarship. If you need extra fund, always come to us. We have a range of different type of scholarship we offer. For example, we have our signature Global Citizen Scholarship that offers up to $10,000 per person. We also have scholarships that we offer to the women studying in the STEM field. We have scholarship for MBA degree. We have scholarship for refugee, and we also have a Chasing Dream Never End scholarship that we offer for the Chinese citizen. To be able to qualify for our scholarship application, that similar to loan application, that you need to be accepted or enrolled in one of our 400 plus eligible schools. And we have a school list on our website. You are free to check. And you also need a valid visa to study in the US or Canada, once you take our scholarship. Those are the criteria, and for each different scholarship that we may have different criteria and deadlines. So always check our website. And last program we offer is called Path to Success program. This is a career service that we offer to all of our loan customers for free. So once you decide to take a loan from us, you will receive email for you to enroll in this program that we offer career coaching. You will get an individualized career support through virtual coaching, office hours, and one-on-one sessions. We also host monthly Path to Success live sessions, and you will get a notification over email once you enrolled. Yes, so those are the 3 fantastic programs that we currently offer. There are actually more programs and more service that we offer too, but you can go look at that on our website under resources page, and you will find all of them. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you so much, Silver. So for anyone that joined late, you can earn money by referring friends. We have 6 scholarships online available for international students. And if you become a customer, we help you with your career and other support you may need in your new country. But now I'm going to turn it over to Rashmi. He's going to walk you a bit more through the student journey and what that looks like and what to expect. So over to you, Rashmi.
Thanks, Claire. So I'll talk about the international student journey from 2 perspectives, like what the timeline is, like how should you be planning, and talking about loan terms. I think Silver already made a point there, so I won't take really long. But yeah, just again re-emphasizing what actually benefits the students the most, like what's the unique proposition for Empower, or how it actually benefits you, is because we have a fixed interest rate and not variable interest rate, right? So when you look at the economy, the markets, the way things are changing, a student or anybody who is taking a loan is always well placed if it's a fixed interest rate. You are not prone to the changes or any other economic factors. And then the other pointer was, you don't need a collateral. As already mentioned, you don't need a cosigner. So when you talk about a collateral, what kind of stress it is when you know that your house has been mortgaged, or you have a car that you put in as collateral on your loan. And as all of us know, if any of you or any of us fails to pay that loan, then bank usually repossesses that asset, right, to help of pay the balance. So when it comes to Empower, we do not need any of these things. We have a different algorithm. We look at, the potential aspects of how could a student can do. And that's the reason we really don't believe in collateral or cosigner, because cosigner also, once involved, they have a legal binding. they're legally responsible for paying the loan if one defaults. So we do not really want, to any of the students or their families, and it's not really easy for all international students to find a co-signer, and particularly if that co-signer has to be from the US. So if I'm a student who has to go abroad and doesn't really have anybody in the US, I may not have one. So I think those are the most important benefits. And then if you, I think one point, my favorite, I would say, is that when you take a loan, right, and we give you enough repayment time, right, which is 10 years, it's a good time so that it doesn't really, overburden you. But at the same time, I may have questions like, what happens if I really want to prepay my loan because I don't want to keep paying interest. I want to do that. So if you see, the practice is that a lot of lenders usually, will penalize you for paying off the debt because that's a loss to them, right? So even if you want to pay off, you may have double minds if I should pay off because if I pay off, there's a penalty that I will be levied, and nobody's happy to pay that. So we've seen a lot of our students paying the loans off in the first 2 to 5 years. And what makes us really different or mission driven is that we do not levy or charge any such kind of fees. So if you are, you've graduated, you've landed, you have a great job, you want to pay off your loan quickly, you don't want to carry it for 10 years, no issues there. There is no kind of prepayment penalty that Empower takes. So I think that's a really, really great benefit, and something that any student should look forward to. And coming to the timeline, very quickly, I'll share this slide so that I can, just give me a moment. Yeah, so, sorry. So when you talk about this application journey, right, it's not just one step. There are a lot of steps, and then you have a lot of, each step has its own deadline. So I just want to walk you through like how this journey starts, or from how can you, plan everything well in advance so that you're on track. So let's say that if you are planning to study in the, fall 2024, so you are already due, your timelines for the schools to apply are due in the next 2 months. So you basically, at this stage, you're supposed to first, explore which is the school that interests you, as well as which is the program is something that you like. So this is everything. All of this is the homework or the beginning work that you have to do and start applying to the schools. And then once you have applied, usually you receive an admission somewhere between Jan to April, because that's almost the cutoff date. That's when the admission closes. And after that, I mean, every school will have the specific dates, but we are talking about a general timeline here. So if you look at this case, okay, if you're planning for fall, by Jan to April, somewhere in between, you will
Rashmi,
already.
real quick, you mind pushing slideshow? It's a little small.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry about that.
And we'll send these out for anyone who may be struggling to see a bit.
I'm sorry. Is that clear? Yeah. So thanks, Claire. So yeah. So once you receive your admission somewhere in between Jan to April, right? So that's the time basically you can just, as soon as you have your admission letter, you can immediately apply for an Empower loan. That's the best time. I would say that, if you are well ahead, so you have enough time to, for us to review your documentation, give you your decision, and for you to uh, not go through the hassle and do everything at your own space. So then once you have an admission, your next immediate step is to apply with us. And then somewhere around February to May, by this time, you will first get an initial review of your application, right? And once that is done, you will have to basically upload all the documents that are required. Once you have uploaded all the documents, we will be doing a final decisioning and provide you a financial support letter. So how does this financial support letter basically helps you? Is for two things. So after this, the next stage is basically getting an I-20 and a visa appointment. So this financial support, so a school wants to know, right, that you're applying to study. What are your plans? How are you going to fund your education? For which we provide you a support letter once you have a loan approval from us. So this will basically help you in getting your I-20 from the school, and getting your I-20 from the school later, somewhere in May to July, you say. Once you get an I-20, that's when you can also go and schedule your visa appointment. So once you have everything in place, you followed the right steps, you got your admission letter, you applied, mostly once you have applied and all the documentation is in place, we do get back to you between 5 to 7 business days, right? And then you have your support letter, you apply for I-20, you have your visa, and then and once your visa interview is done and everything is good, so you sign the final loan agreement. Once you sign the P note, your funds are ready to be sent to school. And then, August is usually August to September, somewhere between this time is when the fall 2024 program typically starts. So this is where we automatically, this will be the time when you're going to start your education. We will automatically disperse the funds to your school. That's how the whole journey is basically. So the only last thing I would again say is a plan, since your percentage, the poll showed that most of us are thinking about studying. So yes, you should be mindful that these are the steps, and every steps has its own deadline. So follow this and be well prepared in advance. Over to you, Claire.
Thank you so much, Rashmi. And now I'm going to have you stop sharing your screen. Awesome. So we have made it through about half the live session, leaving the other half for the application walkthrough with Suryaveer. But I do see there are a lot of new people here. So a quick tip: ask us questions in the Q&A. We're getting through them as quickly as possible, but we're catching up. One note is that if you drop a question in the last 5 minutes, sometimes we can't get to it in time. So better now than towards the end of the session. But look at the Q&A field and you will be able to ask us as many questions as you'd like. So Suryaveer, over to you. I'm sure everyone is very excited to understand exactly how to fill out this application. For everyone attending, we'll send out a recording, so don't feel like you need to take notes of everything you're about to see. Over to you.
Thank you, Claire, and thank you, Silver and Rashmi, for explaining the entire process and the benefits that MPOWER provide. Now I would be going through and walking everyone regarding the application and how it gets submitted. But before we do, I would like to request that I've seen, because being in customer relation team, I've observed the pain points of the applicants and would like to advise everyone on the call today that if you are planning to apply for MPOWER application, there are certain things that we need to make sure that we are aligned at the start itself. I know that the application process will be starting with the eligibility check and then the remaining steps. But before I walk you over through those details, I would request that whenever we are trying to submit an application, let's make sure that we are using the most updated version of the browser we are currently using. I would recommend Google Chrome would be the best one, and the latest version would be the right one, because you won't find any technical difficulties while applying for the MPOWER application. And even if you do that, or if you do find some issues after that, we are happy to help you, and we would recommend you to share us the screenshot or videos for letting us to help you and provide you quick resolution on those. So just that quick advice, and moving forward to the application process. Just give me a moment. I'm sharing the screen now. All right. I believe my screen is visible. All right then. So application process with MPOWER is pretty simple, and I would like to explain the basic steps first, and then I'll dive you deep between each category and each steps. So it starts with the basic journey of how you are going to check about your eligibility. As Claire and everybody else mentioned, that you need to be enrolled with one of our supporting schools, and you need to be graduating within the 2 years time frame from the day of you applying or the term you are applying. So for example, if you are starting for fall 2023, you should be graduated before fall 2025. So that should be within the 2 years time frame. So if you are an undergrad and you have a 4 years or 5 years program, then you are eligible in the last 2 years of your program. And if you are a 1 year program or 2 year program, then you can definitely start your application straightforward. So once you have done and gone through the basic eligibility checks, then the second step would be providing your basic information so that we can understand you more better. We would like to understand from where you are coming, what are your basic contact details, so that if you face any kind of difficulties, we are there to help you at the earliest. After you have provided your basic information, the third step is we would like to understand which school you are planning to go ahead and what are your major and your programs you are going to do. If you have gone through with any kind of exams which you would like to provide, or you have been currently employed, or you have been employed in past, you can mention those details under schools and employment section. Once these details are being done, the final, I would say the most crucial detail is the financial informations. So in that particular tab, you would be providing us your current financial requirements, your current financial details, like how much you are, able to bring from yourself. Is there any kind of personal saving you would like to use while you are completing your education, or is there any kind of scholarship, sponsorship you are getting? We would definitely like to know about these details. Once these are done, then the final check is providing your ID verification and the valid photo ID, so that we can verify who we are going to assist for the loan. And once that is done, you would be able to submit the application. So that was just a quick overview about how the application process works. Now I'll dive deep in the step one. So just give me a second. Yeah. So talking about the eligibility check. So once you start the eligibility check, we would be asking you about if you are currently enrolled, or you are thinking of studying, or you are accepted but not yet enrolled, and the various options that you see on the screen. Now, the important thing to understand here is that if you are just thinking about studying, it's really good that you have come forward and you want to understand whether the school is eligible or not, or any other requirement that you would like to understand here. But if you're just thinking about the studying and you have not yet been, applied for a school, or not have received any kind of admission or formal acceptance from the university, then in that case, your application would not be continued, because we know that you are trying to check the eligibility, which you would be able to do. But in order to find out or complete the application process, you need to be currently enrolled, or at least you should have an offer admission letter from the specified university you are interested in. So depending on your circumstances and situation, you would need to select the best suitable option. So if, for example, if you are an undergrad student, you are applying for your last 2 years, then you would would need to select the fourth option, which means I'm currently enrolled at a school. And if you are a first timer doing for your master's, which is a 2-year programs, then you can select I've been accepted but not yet enrolled. Or you can select the second option also, that I've applied but not yet been accepted. And we also have an option of transferring. So if you are a transfer student and you are coming to US or Canada for your higher, completing rest of your program, then you can select the last options shown on the screen. Once you are done with what brings you with MPOWER, then the second point of view would be, we would like to know what program you are planning to do. Is it a master program, or is it an MBA program? Is it a PhD or bachelor's, or etc., as mentioned on the screen? So we would like to know what is your anticipated graduation date, so that we understand and we are able to see that your program is within the eligibility requirements. So most probably applicants are slightly not aware about when their program would be actually ending. So they do ask us that I don't know the date when I would be graduating. So you don't have to worry, but you just have to mention that the estimated. So if you know that your program is just 2 years, then you would be able to identify that from the day of start when it would be completing. So you can select that. If you're already aware about the date, then definitely you can mention that for better experience. Once that is done, then the second question that you see on the screen is about what is your current GPA. Now, most of the student does ask us that, see, I'm coming to US first time, just gotten the admission. I don't have a GPA right now. Would I not be eligible? So in that case, yes, you would be eligible, because we are not asking you a GPA for what you have not yet attended even. So the GPA field is only required if you are an existing student. You have to mention if you have completed any semesters already, or if you are getting confused, then whatever you have done in past, for example, in your last university, whatever has been your GPA, you can simply mention that. But it is not something that you have to do it because you have any education in past. It's just about to understand if you are an existing student. We would like to understand how has been your academic performance till now. So once that has been done, the second part is about just your basic information. We would like to know how we should greet you. So if you are Mr., Mrs., or other, you can mention or select that. What is your legal first name and last name? We would definitely recommend you to provide these details according to your valid ID that you are going to submit, or I would recommend it to provide it as per your passport. Now, there have been instances where the applicant has reached out, where they have provided their details before marriages, and there are be situation that after marriage the last name has been changed. So in that case, we would recommend whatever is available on your passport. Go with that, because that will going to help you in further documentations regarding your loan application and even as for your I-20. Now, once that is done, then the second point of information we would like to know is from which country you belong. We would definitely like to understand where you're coming from and would like to help you, in best suitable way. So whatever is your passport country and the details you are mentioning, you would need to mention here. In case if you are a dual citizenship or you have dual citizenship of different countries, maybe it can be US, or if not US, then either any of the two countries, I would recommend the one to use where you are recently located, and you can provide us the documentations and proofs for the same. So select your passport country and then what is your permanent address. Permanent address usually means whatever is your home country, and home country is your citizenship country. So we would like to understand where you are coming, and if you can provide us the address details for better communication. Then you would need to mention the details of your contact, the number that you would like us to reach you out. And if you are interested, you can also select the WhatsApp option available here. Once these details are done, then let's come to the another page of basic information where we would like to understand what is your immigration status currently. Are you a refugee, asylum seeker, or you are a permanent resident, you are a DACA student? Non-citizens would be the students who are international students and do not have any citizenship or any asylum status or DACA status for US. So anyone coming from outside US would need to go with non-citizen. And if you're selecting any of the other options, we would request you to provide us the relevant proofs for the same to certify the details. Now, if you have already a visa available, then you can select yes. If no, then you can simply mention no. What type of visa you are applying, we recommend you to select the best suitable type here as per your requirement. So usually all international students go forward with F1 visa, but if you already are on a dependent visa or any other visa category, we would request you to provide us those relevant details. So moving forward, coming to the step 3, once you are done with your basic informations, let's go with the schools and employment information. So now once you have selected your school, now we would like to understand what kind of masters you are trying to do. You can list your major here. If it is a dual degree, please select yes. If it is not a dual degree, you can select no here. If it is a STEM program, which means if it is a science, technology, engineering, or mathematics, so anything related to, if your program is a STEM, then I would recommend to select yes. And if it is a non-STEM program, then you can simply select no. We would also like to understand if your program is a full-time program or is a half-time or part-time program. So you can select according to the requirements. Again, here we are asking about your cumulative GPA. That depends if you are an existing student or not. Depending on that, you would need to mention these fields. The another option here is your program on campus, online, or is it hybrid? Now, we do like to support each categories of program as possible, but I would like to inform you that right now with our processes, one of the major requirement before we can lend anyone is to have a valid US visa or Canadian visa available. Now, in that case, if your program is an online program recently and you are not going to the school country anytime in the program land, unfortunately, that would not be considerable. But if you are doing a hybrid program, let's just say your first year would be in campus and your last year would be online, but you are able to provide us a valid visa before the requirement of disbursement, you can select the hybrid. Otherwise, if it is simple on-campus program, just select that. Now, once that is done, then the next step brings few more details that we would like to understand here is that we would like to know which year you are currently starting with. So if you are undergrad student and you are now in your 4th year or 5th year, select the options accordingly. If you are a master's student, you are doing your first year in master's, then you should select first year graduate or second year graduate for better confirmation. Again, the basic details, we were re-asking about full-time, half-time, or the cumulative GPA. Depending on your requirements, you can select the best suitable field. Once these details are done, then we would like to understand if you have given any kind of standardized scores or exams or language test. Now, definitely each universities have different categories and requirements for their enrollments. Most of the universities now do not even require your language or your standardized tests, but if there is any requirement, or if you have given these exams irrespective of the requirement from the university or not, we would recommend you to please provide us those relevant information. So if you have given any language test, which is TOEFL, IELTS, Duolingo, you can select the option. If it is not, then you can select haven't taken or waived as well. Same goes with your standardized scores. If you have given any kind of program like GRE, GMAT, AMSAT, so you can definitely select the best suitable option and provide your total scoring and the results of the program that you have given it right now. Now, once these informations are done, then the next requirement comes is we would like to know if you are currently employed, if you are not employed, but you have been employed in past, or you have no employment history. Now, I would like to quote here is that in any way, it is not is something that we are trying to, differentiate you between that if you have experience or not. We are just trying to understand how, if you have any experience relevant to the program you are going in, definitely that is on add-on. But if you have no experience and this is the first time you are going to US or any other country and you have no employment history, you can simply select I have no employment history and continue with the next steps. Once these informations are being done, then we'll come to the financial information, which is most crucial part of your application. Now, I like to requote here is that what we mean by the total estimated cost for 1 year is it can be your tuition cost, your living cost, any additional cost, or if your health insurance is a part of the cost, you can mention these details. I would recommend you to select the cost according to the 1 year, not as per the total length of the program, because our systems will be automatically calculating your total financial requirements according to the term and the length of the program that you have selected initially by mentioning the anticipated end date. So you just have to mention whatever is required for your one financial year or one academic year. Now, most of the students don't have the actual idea, so you can definitely refer to your university websites and see what is the cost for the international student for the program you are getting enrolled. And most of the students also get the direct information from the academic counselors or the informations while they require for to submit the I-20 proofs, so the funding proofs for I-20. So you would also get a brief idea about what is your actual requirement you have to show the university to get your valid I-20. So you can use those informations and fill these details relevantly. Once these informations are done, then you will be seeing this screen, which will tell you about your financial plan. So the total cost will be reflecting at the top, which would be automatically calculated accordingly to the length of the program and what you have mentioned in 1 year. Then it will tell you is that the additional funding sources that you are bringing on the table. Now, as I said, is that now, if you have any kind of funding sources, which means that anything that is in your bank account and you would be able to utilize it for your education, that will be considered as personal saving. Anyone in your family, like your friends, family, relatives, are also eager to help you for your education and supporting you with some sort of amount. You can definitely mention those details under the family savings or family and friend savings. And the only requirement we would ask in order to verify those details would be a valid bank statement of the sponsor who is assisting you and a valid ID along with a sponsorship support letter. So we'll share, your respective relationship manager will definitely share you these informations, but you would be also able to find these on the student portal. Now, once that is done, then you will see here there is a funding gap. Now, I would like to highlight here is that the funding gap only means that whatever you are requesting and what is you're going to be your total tuition requirements, if your financial that you're already bringing is not equivalent to that, that will reflect as the funding gaps. So you don't have to worry because you would be requesting a loan from MPOWER. So at the top, you see requested loan amount. Do mention whatever requirement you have. Just want to clarify 2 points here. If you're applying for 1 semester only, then the maximum request amount you can ask from MPOWER at this moment is 50,000 USD. And if you are applying for one whole academic year, then the maximum loan amount you can request from Empower at this moment is 100,000 USD. So these would be the limits. So if you can request entire 100,000 in one application, and if you are already aware of your requirement, then you can select the best suitable amount and then click on agree and continue. Now, once you are done with this, then the most final steps comes where you have to upload your valid ID. So if you are an international student, definitely we would request you to provide with us your passport, because that helps us with a quick verification. But if you are already a US citizen, and let's just say you don't have a passport, but if you have a driving license or any kind of birth certificate or official government ID, you can also provide us those. And even if you don't have a passport right now, for example, even for international student, but you do have a valid government ID, photo ID available with you, you can also upload that. And once your passport is available, you can provide us that as well. Once these are done, then voila, you are done with the application process. And once your application will be submitted, a relationship manager will be assigned to you and will be reaching you out for your further assistance of your application process. That's all from my side. Happy to take any further questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Suryaveer. So everyone, we are in the last 10 minutes, so we're going to take some audience questions right now. We have a few I see that keep popping up, but this is definitely a great time to get a few last minute questions in if you haven't yet. So I think, man, where to start? So Suryaveer, I think there's a lot of questions about how much money should I request? Maybe you can clarify that a bit for those asking.
Thank you for asking that question. So definitely, that is a very valid question, depending about how much I should ask from Empower. Though we do have a limit of $100,000, I would recommend you to always request for the amount that you actually requires for your tuition, because even though we are happy to assist you, you also need to understand that it's a loan, and you should utilize loan according to your actual requirements. So being an international student coming for the first time, you have to go through with various requirements and your stability there. So I would recommend that whatever is your total tuition, and if you have any kind of funding sources already available with you, just remove those funding sources and see how much is the remaining balance, and you can ask accordingly.
And then I think I have one rule of thumb for you in terms of like just general how you look at the loan. Typically, you shouldn't ask for more in total than your first annual salary. So it'd be good to look up what your first annual salary might be and just kind of double check that and make sure you're in the right ballpark. Rashmi, I have some questions for you, but this first one's about test scores. And we have a lot of places on the application where we ask for test scores, and people want to know, when do I need to include the test scores? So over to you.
Hi. So for test scores, I would say that basically this is defined by the school, right? Some of you may have test scores for some of the programs. It might be a pre-requirement, and some of you may not have test scores. If you're going for a STEM program, you may be asked for a GRE score. If you're going for an MBA program, you may be asked for an English proficiency score like TOEFL or IELTS, right? So what I would suggest is that if you already have an English proficiency or a standardized test score, right? So while you're filling in your application form, it will already ask you if you have anything, right? And based on what your scores are, just be careful while you're filling out the application. So if you have a test score, please provide that. But if you don't have a test score, it doesn't mean that you do not qualify or you are not eligible for a loan. We will look at it later. And based on our algorithm, based on which program are you going for, do we really need a test score and some other elements like that. So yeah, that's how it works.
And I think one tip I've heard is sort of save the information you use to apply to a school, because we generally just ask for the same details. So that way, whatever your school's asking for, you just plop it over. So I know a lot of you are thinking about studying. When you apply, save that information. You can just quickly fill out the MPOWER Loan app at the same time. Rashmi, this is a less fun question. So people have some questions about what are the most common reasons for denial, and are there ways to avoid them or make sure that they're not in that case? So common reasons and maybe advice you may have.
I think a common reason for denial, like something that Suryaveer already touched upon, I would just like to kind of elaborate, is unsustainable debt. So basically, while we are trying to give you a loan, at the same time, what we try to understand is that we keep in mind what is your debt, what is the capacity of debt that you can take up, because we do not want our students to sort of. It's really not a nice situation when you are trapped in debt and you are not able to pay it off. So that's the reason we do that whole calculation, so that we make sure that if a student is coming and borrowing, debt from us, he or she does not get into that kind of situation and is able to make that, is able to afford that debt. So those are the calculations we do. So that is one of the most common reason. So, if your cost of education is really high, at the same time, your employment prospects for that particular program or that particular country is not very promising, and you are not in a position, or let's say you already have a lot of debt. So you're not in a position to take up more debt. So we really don't want to put you in a situation where we overburden you by giving you a loan where you may not be able to, because if you're not able to pay the debt, even the school, you may not be able to graduate. And that lands up in a bad situation. So that is one of the most common reasons. But again, I would say if anybody is declined for unsustainable debt, it really means that, you need to see sort of kind of plan out, and you need some more funds. If you go on taking excessive debts like this will not be a good situation for you in first place, than the lender also. That's one of the most common reasons we see. And apart from that, again, like Claire mentioned, the only suggestion I would say is that while filling in your application, please be careful, fill in all the right details, right? So that because all of this information later on will be verified through the documentation that you submit to us. So that makes it easy and less back and forth for you as well as us, for both of us.
But I think another common question is, how do I get my loan approved as fast as possible? And I think the less exciting answer is make sure everything's accurate so we don't have to get back up with you.
Absolutely. I think that's an easy thing. Just while filling out your application, give everything that we are asking for, whatever you have, just state in the correct information. Once you have your initial decision, if you get a conditional offer, you're supposed to upload documents. Please upload the correct documents. A lot of times you may upload some blur copies. You may upload something which does not have your name, or you may upload a random document. So if you are just following the process, I think we're good. We should be able to get back to you by, 5 to 7 business days. And that's, I think, pretty fast.
Thank you so much. And so Silver, I'm moving to you with a few, I think, easy questions. So one is, can I prepay my loan early? Oh, is there a penalty? Are you going to charge me?
Yes, of course. You can repay your loan at any time. We're very flexible.
Like, wait, there's a penalty? No, but yeah, no, you're right.
No penalty at all. Very flexible. If like any months that you think that you have some like extra fund in your bank account that you would like to use to repay more of your loan, definitely do so. You can contact our servicing department if you want to know more information about that. I think I can probably share the email address that our servicing department has here, but
actually, maybe Suryaveer, maybe you want to drop the best communication channel for anyone that wants to reach out.
Yeah, sure. Best way to reach out us would be contacting us at empower.me at Empower Financing, even if it is a service inquiry. So I'm just dropping it on the chat. You guys can look into it. Just give me a moment.
Awesome. So Silver, next question. Many people want to use the loan for a wide variety of things. I saw some laptops and plane tickets, living expenses, and a nice list. So can you clarify for everyone what the loan can be used for in the United States and versus Canada?
Yeah, what our loan can be used for can be like different if you're studying in the US compared that if you are studying in Canada. So the general rule is that our loan can be used to pay for your tuition, both in the US and Canada. And for the living expense part, it can be a little bit tricky. That if you're in the US, our loan can definitely cover your living expense. And if you're in Canada, and for some of the schools that you can use the loan to cover your living expense, but for others you may not. And actually, it's your university that will decide what this loan can be used for. So if you're not sure that for your program that if our loan can be used to pay for your tuition and your living expense, always check with your school's financial aid office, and they will definitely tell you that what you can use our loan for.
Awesome. Thank you, Silver, and thank you, panelists. So we're going to start closing up, but that still gives you about a few minutes for us to answer any lingering questions in the Q&A section. But I always have the same final two questions. So pan the number one choice for international students seeking to study abroad. So that's question one. Question two is, what is your number one tip for our international students or our future international students? What advice do you have? And I ask you to keep to one. So just to repeat, why is MPOWER awesome and what's your tip? And I'll start with Silver.
Cool. Why is MPOWER awesome? I think that I'm really proud that we have a great mission, that our mission is to help international students to be successful in their education and their career. And we don't want any international students that to be stopped from pursue their dreamed higher education because of not enough fund. So I think this is the reason why our founder created this company, and it's to help international students. And my top one tips for all the international students is that plan ahead. Definitely plan ahead to, for your loan application, plan ahead for your career, network the most with your professors in school, with your peers, and trying to plan ahead for the career that you want to pursue after you graduate. That if you are going to study a postgraduate degree in the US, it usually takes about 1 to 2 years, and the time can fly. So definitely, as soon as you enrolled in your school, thinking about that, what you can do, how to utilize your time overseas to achieve a good future for yourself in the future.
Thank you, Silver. So Rashmi, same questions. MPOWER is awesome. Why? And what's your tip?
I would say MPOWER is awesome because you can do it all by yourself. Already mentioned, no cosigner, no collateral, right? So you're really not dependent on anything. And the entire process, you can just go through our website. Everything is pretty clear. You can, it's an easy process, I believe. And my tip would be the same thing: plan ahead, plan well. And another tip for all the international students is going to be, when you get out there, when you're in the US and already studying, do a lot of networking. Try to get yourself get into some good internships, that really we've seen internship offers I've seen based on my experience converting into really good employment prospects. So that is something that may help you, and network all through. You can be in any program or any college, but you can network with everybody around. I think that helps you find the right place or the right job.
Great tips.
Thank you.
All right, Suryaveer, bring us home. Why are we awesome, and what's your tip?
Yeah, so adding on to Silver and Rashmi points, MPOWER is awesome. We have already covered the benefits, but one thing that I would like to highlight here is the mission that we drive and the purpose, how we work, is something that really boosts me also to participate in towards the student success. And no matter whatever decision we are making to the loan applications, we always try to coach our students in the best possible manner and to assist them that, okay, if it is not working for this school, you should try to see different varieties of options available, because as a student, and it also goes with the is that we are here to support you always. If you are being approved, definitely we are happy to go forward, and in any case that if things doesn't fall in line according to your requirement at this moment, don't get harsh on yourself, because this is the time that you have to rethink about whether this is the right option I'm going through. Is my financial debt level going to be good here, or should I vouch for other options, other universities, because we are there to guide you always in every possible way. So that's the tip, as well as why I feel the company is awesome.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Suryaveer, and thank you everyone for joining us today.